Alrighty, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you so much for joining us today. This class is a special one because we have a guest, David Silverstein. He is with American Home Contractors, the VP there. So David, if you want to give just a quick little intro about yourself, and then we'll go ahead and get started here.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm David Silverstein with American Home Contractors. We are a roofing and exterior modeling contractor in the DC metro area. We have an office in Maryland, and we also have an office in Northern Virginia. We offer roofing, siding, gutters, doors, windows in the Maryland, DC, Virginia markets. We also joined Tesla's mission to transition to sustainable energy back in 2020 by becoming a Tesla Solar Roof certified installer. We offer that product in 10 states. And we joined Infinity Home Services mission of saving our community scrupulous contractors back in 2022 when we sold our business to private equity. We have over 80 users in our CompanyCam account. We have subcontractors and in-house employees. And hopefully, when I go through some of the ways we use CompanyCam, you guys can take some tips and tricks along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. They do a really great job using CompanyCam, and they have been with us for a long time. So we are really excited to have you as a guest today. A few housekeeping things, like normal here, like you can see on my screen. If you guys have questions along the way for David or for our team, please put them in the Q&A box located at the bottom of your screen. That's what we've got here on the slide. This is being recorded, so if you want your team to watch it later, or maybe you missed something, want to go back, you'll get the recording. And this class will be about 45 minutes, so a little bit longer than normal. I'm going to go over the agenda here because we're going to have some time for some Q&A at the end. But again, very excited to just hear about how David runs his team. They have very efficient jobs, so we're going to cover quite a few features today. So to kick us off with our agenda, how we're going to do this, I'm going to ask David some questions, and he's going to go through his process and what they use, and then I'm going to go ahead and demo that for you. So you get the use case, and then you're also going to learn how to do that in the mobile app and on the desktop side of CompanyCam. So as you can see, quite a few things. We're going to talk about project creation. So they use a lot of, they use two different integrations here with CompanyCam. They're assigning users. They all have some custom home screens and like what works best for them and their users. They've got some organization with tags and labels, using annotations and comments and notifications. They're using those checklists, AI actions, payments, showcases, reviews, and collaborators. So lots of good stuff here. And of course, use the Q&A at the bottom of the screen to ask some questions along the way. We'll be able to help you out. So to go ahead and get started here, David, tell us a little bit about like how you guys create your projects in CompanyCam. Like I said, you guys use Zoho here with CompanyCam and Sumo Quote. So what does that look like for your team when creating the project? And then sort of those next steps. I know you guys assign users, use that nearby project home screen. If you could kind of just give us a little details about how you do that, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Typically, the project creation starts from our CRM in Zoho. We create an appointment, and that triggers creating a project in CompanyCam. And that way, once our technician goes out or our sales rep goes out to the field, meets with the homeowner, they can pull open the app and they can find that address right then and there. It helps with minimizing duplicate projects and having to merge things together if people are just creating out in the field. Sometimes we do that if things don't originate in the CRM, but typically it goes from the CRM, project created in CompanyCam, representative goes out in the field, opens the app, sees the project, and then starts taking pictures. We also use Sumo Quote for our quoting, for our estimates, and that's a great integration. Our sales reps will create a project in Sumo Quote, and they can create it from a CompanyCam link. They can integrate the photos for the cover page. They can also do the inspection checklist through Sumo Quote, and it's just a really great integration as well.
Awesome. Thank you. So the project is created then. Your guys are out in the field. They're going to go open that project then. So tell me a little bit about how you guys maybe use your home screen to find those projects, your nearby projects. I know you're also assigning users. If you could just walk us through that.
Yeah, typically we'll just click the camera app or the camera button at the bottom of the app, and it'll open up and it'll give us a list of nearby projects, and then we'll identify the property address where we're at. It'll have the homeowner's name, the address, of course, everything in there. And then typically what we do is we take a picture of the front of the house. That does two things. The first thing it does is timestamp when the person gets there on site. So it's kind of like a best practices. So if their appointment's at 10 a.m. and we see a picture taken at 9:55, we know they were on time. They take a picture of the front of the home. It also acts as the cover photo for that project. So it's a nice photo to identify that location and that project inside a CompanyCam. And then after that, sometimes we'll assign users to the project if somebody needs to be notified in CompanyCam. We do that for checklists as well. It's nice and easy. Just go in, assign users to the checklist or the project. Keeps everything organized. And then would you like me to go through the process of our photo taking as well?
Um, I'm gonna demo that really quick. That's a great break. I'm gonna just pop over here into my screen and just walk through a little bit about what you talked about, David. So, like he said, they use an integration there. If you guys are in the market for setting up an integration or want to browse what we have, from the desktop side of CompanyCam under resources, you're gonna see integrations. So you can view all of our integrations, and then if you do have one connected, you can see that there. But go ahead and use that search function. We are building integrations like wildfire. So we'd be happy to also send you some additional resources. But when you click on one here, you're going to be brought to a page that's going to give you support details, like kind of walks you through what does this integration do with CompanyCam. So that integrations tab is right here on the left-hand side. As far as like, he was talking a little bit about that home screen there. So on the left-hand side here, this is my mobile device. If you guys scroll down all the way to the bottom, you're going to have this edit home screen button. So David said that they use that nearby projects a lot. I also use that. It's one of our best features. CompanyCam knows your location. Might as well make your job easy by showing up to the job site and using our nearby projects to find that project. So you can see I have that up here at the top. You can also click into it and see lots of different projects that are going to be in your area. Assigning users to a project. So he does that with his project side and also on the checklist side. We're going to get to checklists here in just a little bit. But when you guys go ahead and click into a project, on the desktop side over here, you're going to see project users. So we've got a lot of people that are already contributing to this project and have been assigned to it. And then also on the mobile side, you can also assign, you can see these initials here. If you just go ahead and click on that, and same here on the desktop side, this is where you're going to see that assign user button. So simply click on that, search for the internal user, and then once you've clicked on their name, you'll hit assign. So this is a great way for people to know what projects they're supposed to be on because it sends them a notification, which is great. So you can see those notifications up here at the top. I do believe we're going to talk about that a little bit more. One other thing here, while we're talking about projects, David, can you talk to us a little bit about how you use the map feature on the desktop side here? And then I know you guys use labels to filter for that, but if I remember correctly, this is a big part of your process as well.
Yes, so we don't label every single project since we do run a lot of appointments, but noteworthy projects like Tesla solar roof or solar or certain siding projects or roofing jobs we'll attach labels to so that they're easy to search inside of the map. Just makes it easy to filter through, see where projects are going on. Through a management lens, it makes it easy to kind of see where everyone's at any given moment and see what's close by. Like if I want to swing by a Tesla solar roof project and I'm in West Virginia, I can just pull open the map. I can filter through Tesla solar roof labels and I can see all of those projects easily without having to sort through a bunch of other projects. Yeah, so the labeling is great. It helps organize and it helps, filter out the map. And then we also use the map when we're at homeowners' houses and we want to show them other projects we've done nearby. Of course, we can filter through labels. Like if we're doing a siding estimate, we can filter through siding projects nearby and show the homeowner other projects in their neighborhood that we've done. It's kind of like a sales tool in that sense. And one thing we've done with storm work as well is if the storm hits a neighborhood, it's great to go into that neighborhood, pull open the CompanyCam app, hit the map, and then look around the area and identify other projects nearby, other places that we've been to, other places that we at, and then we can knock on those doors, and it's a nice warm intro leading into, that door-to-door activity after the storm hits. You can just knock on the door, hey, we've met in the past. I have a project created in CompanyCam. You can see here we've done work together. We did your roof. I'm just here as a courtesy to check in and see if everything's going well, offer a free inspection. So it's a great tool after a storm as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've actually heard that many times from our customers that they're using this map tool to win jobs and to use it as a sales tool. So if you guys are wondering where that's at on the mobile side, when you're on your home screen, you're just going to have that map icon down there right above the camera. So from here, you can zoom in and out and move around the screen. And again, show your customer where you've been working. And on the desktop side here, when you click on map, you can also see those different projects here, zoom in and out, and then of course use those labels to be able to filter for those jobs. All right. So we're going to cover labels again at the end for some more organizational tools. I'll show you guys how to set up a label. But as you can see with the map, you can use it many different ways. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to some like photos and communication. So David, can you tell me a little bit about how your crew, like how they take photos, using things like annotations and comments and notifications?
Sure. A lot of our team uses the unstructured capture method where they just go out and take photos. If they need to apply more context, they'll edit the photos, as you can see here. They can also apply descriptions or comments. Comments are great because you can mention other people and get them involved in the conversation, centered around that photo of what's going on. The description is great because after you take a photo, you can just talk to your phone and it'll attach that description, that transcription to it. So that's great as well. So we do use those features often.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. And honestly, some of just our core features within CompanyCam are annotations. And then I think this slide is really fun. As you can see here on the right-hand side, you guys can leave those comments within CompanyCam. So you can mention people to notify them. Otherwise, you can just be talking back and forth, and it's sort of like your paper trail there. So David, when you guys use your descriptions and when you use your comments, can you kind of describe like why you would use a description versus why you would use a comment?
We typically use a comment if we're trying to mention something to somebody.
Mhm.
I think we shifted over to descriptions when we're, documenting things because it's just so easy to talk to the phone as opposed to typing it, especially when you're on a roof or in an attic and you're sweaty. So we really like the description nowadays. Some of our team still uses comments. And to my knowledge, you can't really tag anybody in a description.
Right. Okay, fantastic. So as far as how to use these features, let me go back to my project here. He said they're kind of just doing like general basic photo taking, which is fantastic. So when I click into my project here, whether you guys are old with CompanyCam or you're brand new, I always like to point out you can take your photos through CompanyCam. Of course, you can upload them from your device if you forget to, but we have this camera icon down at the bottom. So when you click on it here, you are brought directly to your camera. So I can snap my photos here. So this is what David's team is doing out in the field. Again, you can take lots of photos very quickly. And as you can see, these are already uploading into that project feed there. David was talking about descriptions. And so you can click on your photos here and use that voice to text and leave a description. So I'm just going to go back and go ahead and click onto a photo here. If you go add a description, you guys can always type something out. We still have a lot of people who do that, but if you do want to streamline your process a little bit more, you can always click on that microphone and leave your notes directly with that photo. So that's living there with the description. We also talked about those comments. So he was talking about mentioning people. So drawing attention to this photo, I want to notify a teammate. We're going to do that in the comment section. So when you're on your photo here, it's going to be that text message bubble that's going to be right on the left-hand side here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. On the desktop side here, I'll also pull that open. So I have those descriptions. This is kind of like your notepad, your running notepad, because you can go back and edit those notes. Again, do the voice to text. If you're going to leave a comment, this is more of like a paper trail. You can't go back and delete these comments. So I can leave just a general statement here, or I can hit this @ symbol. So kind of like Facebook or Instagram, type in a name. So these are going to, again, be your internal users within CompanyCam. And we're going to say, yeah, maybe we need to call the customer tomorrow and post. And you'll see on my mobile side then that came through as a notification. So whether you're in CompanyCam, you have your phone locked, you're at lunch, we have different notification settings for you. If it's like, to tap it and it opens up or whatever that looks like, you can click on it, it will bring you to your photo. So just a really great way to stay in the loop with your team within CompanyCam. This is one of our internal communication tools. And for annotation, so you saw in that slide that David, they mark up their photos, they point out damage, another way to communicate. So to apply an annotation to your photo, you're just going to look for that squiggly line. So on the desktop side, that's going to be in the top left corner. And on the mobile, it's going to be this third one down here at the bottom. So once you click on that squiggly line, it will open up your editing toolbar. So pretty basic things, honestly, but it's a really great way to just point out what's going on in the photo. So once I click on it, it just drops it directly on the photo, and then I can move it around the screen. So this little white circle, if you just click and drag, I can move this around. This other one here will let you adjust the size. And maybe let's add in an arrow as well. Let's point that out there. As you can see, this does magnify, which is pretty cool. I think the arrow is used all the time. And then with this big T here, I can add text. So maybe we'll put, there's some damage right there. So for those that are watching and wanting to mess around with annotations or learn more, all I recommend is just try the different things. We have some stickers here. So for premium users and elite, you can drop your logo directly like on your photo if you would like and move that around. You can stamp the time and the date, all sorts of good things. So once you're done, just go ahead and hit save. Hit that green check mark, go ahead and hit save, and then you're good with your annotations.
Yeah, the measurement feature is really nice as well when editing photos and applying dimensions.
Sure, absolutely. Yep. So with your text here, if you want to go ahead and put in your different measurements here, whoop, drop that on there and maybe draw a line with it or whatever. Again, yeah, that's a really good point, David. Okay, moving right
Did you want,
along. Oh,
did you
go
want me to
ahead.
mention anything about tags and how we
That's
use them?
actually going to be like a little bit later on down here. We'll talk about our tags. Yep.
Okay.
Next, we're going to move into documentation and organization. So this is going to be more of your SOPs, David. So talk to us about your checklist that you have in CompanyCam. I know you have a lot of different templates there. So maybe, yeah, what are you templating within CompanyCam, the different checklists you have? And then we're also going to talk about some AI and payments as well.
Yeah, so checklists have evolved quite nicely. We started using them, I guess, probably a couple years ago when they were very early on, and kind of slow and clunky, but now they're actually very usable. So we put together detail sheets, we put together a tune-up report, put together site surveys, inspection sheets, and that type of stuff. All of them live inside of our checklist templates. And when we run an appointment, typically we'll attach a checklist to it. So if it's a tune-up appointment or a service appointment, we'll use the tune-up report. We'll go through, and a lot of our guys will do the unstructured capture method still because they're so used to it. They'll just take photos knowing the things they have to capture, but they'll reference back to the checklist and make sure they've captured photos of the various items on that checklist. Some of the guys prefer to do a more structured approach where they populate the checklist, they go through the checklist, and they attach the photos as they go through the checklist itself.
Mm,
So it's great. Most of our appointments end up having a checklist these days. It keeps the information we need there and it makes sure we don't miss anything. And we also assign users a lot of times to those checklists.
fantastic. That's great. How many checklists do you think you have within your CompanyCam? How many different checklists that is?
Over a dozen, because every project that gets sold will have a detail sheet. So if you sell a roof, it'll have a roof detail sheet. If you sell a siding project, it'll have a siding detail sheet. If you go out and do a roof survey, it'll have an inspection checklist. If you go a solar site survey, it'll have a solar checklist. There's punch out lists, there's completion checklists. Um, we've created so many checklists, but they're all being used, which is cool, because early on we were trying to get adoption and trying to get people to use the checklist. They were just kind of slow and clunky, as I mentioned, but now they're actually very fast and useful.
Fantastic. Last question around these checklists. Are these all for internal use, David, or are you also exporting these and sending them to the customer?
Uh, we are exporting some of them, like the tune-up report. That's our it replaced the PDF. So we were using Adobe PDF and it was editable. So you would be able to go in and fill it out and then have the homeowner sign off on it. So we actually filled that out as a checklist inside of CompanyCam. We export it as a PDF and then we capture a signature from the homeowner after that appointment is complete.
Fantastic. I love that. Kind of in that same vein, I know you guys are using some of our AI features within CompanyCam. Can you tell me a little bit about which AI features you're using and why you're using them?
Yeah, so the AI features have come a long way as well. We were part of the beta program, I think last year, and it's really cool to see that technology progress. I really like the walkthrough note, so where you just take pictures and talk to the phone, and it kind of puts together a summary and a report of what you did while you're out there. That's a great feature. It's real easy. As it continues to improve, I see that replacing a lot of the other things we're doing inside a company cam. So I like to use it as often as possible and see where the technology has evolved to. You can also do the summary. Typically, that's best when you have photos with descriptions attached to them, and then the AI just kind of summarizes everything and puts the photos into a professional report that you can share. Um, but yeah, the walkthrough note is my favorite by far.
Yeah, it's also my favorite. What are you using the walkthrough note for? Is it internal or is it also sending it out to the customer?
Typically, that's internal right now. Um, Typically, we'll go out and it'll be, inspecting a project, looking for deficiencies, trying to figure out, generally what's happening, and what has to, be completed. And
Yeah.
I share that internally with the team. So I'll just walk around the job site and I'll just take photos, talk to the phone, just kind of let my thoughts speak, freely, and then let the AI put it all together. And then I just share it with the team internally and they love it.
Awesome. I love that. That's exactly like what we wanted to do is for you to think out loud, walk around the property and have AI do the heavy lifting. So I'm going to demo those two features here before we get into payments. So let's go ahead and get into a checklist here. So like David said, they have probably about a dozen different checklists within CompanyCam. I was just talking with somebody that has like 25 different ones. So lots of different jobs. This is just a great way to make sure you're not missing something in the project or on the job site there. So everybody has this tab that says checklist here. So if you're starting from scratch, you'll hit create checklist here, but I'm going to show you a mature one that's kind of built out. And as you can see, you can work through this step by step where you can attach a photo or you can even take a photo directly through this checklist. So sounds like David's team does both. Some like to come back and make sure they're doing everything right. And then some might even be taking a photo directly through that checklist. So I'll show you quickly how to do that. With this field here, if you go ahead and click that camera icon, just like normal, you're going to be able to take those photos directly through the checklist. Once you've taken the photos, you just hit done. It will put you back in there and you can see that those are loading directly with that field. So I can go ahead, check that off. It will have my name, date, and time. So there's proof of work that I did this, and then I can go ahead and move on to the next one. So with our checklist here, if you're creating one from scratch, you'll hit new checklist, create, and then you can really do two things here. You can create a section. So this is kind of like your page header. So maybe this is going to be all of my before photos. And then the field, that's going to be your action item. So let's maybe take a picture of the front door. So really, really easy to build out. You guys can all get started with these. A few extra things, like you can add some notes and some extra instructions in there. You can decide if you want the photos to be required. So I wouldn't be able to check this off if photos were required. So just a great way to make sure it's getting done. And then, of course, you can add some questions here. So a yes or no question, a rating scale, maybe you want a text response from them. Like that's a really great way if you are collecting measurements. And then you can also do your multiple choice here as well. So those that are on premium or elite, you can save these as a template like David is doing. And by saving it as a template, that just means you can reuse it over and over again. So if you have that inspection checklist you're using every single time on the job, you want to be able to save that as a template so we can bring that in and you don't have to start from scratch over and over again. You'll get access to those templates when you are on a premium or elite tier. So really great to do. Those templates are going to live over here on the left-hand side. You can template more than just checklists. You can see reports, documents, pages, and then even projects. So if you guys would like to learn more about that, we can hook you up with your account manager here. You can just type there in the Q&A or we'll have something at the end. But this is one of our most used features within CompanyCam, in my opinion, one of the best. So that's our checklist kind of in a nutshell there. If we want to go over to our AI. So our AI features are going to live under our Pages tab. So right now they're going to be on the mobile side. We've got some great things coming on the desktop very soon. But like David said, he is using the walkthrough note. So how we get there, on your mobile device here in the project, you're going to click Pages plus Page. And then at the bottom, you're going to see that walkthrough note. We have a few other options, the progress recap, daily log, and summary as well. You can create those quickly, but we're going to do this walkthrough note here because this one is pretty cool. I know David said it's one of his favorites. So with the walkthrough note, once you click on it, it goes live. And like it says, you talk, capture, and get AI organized notes. So this isn't a video. This is going to create a page in the end, but it is going to go live here. So I click walkthrough note. It's going to give me a countdown. And so here's just a quick example of, we're over here at CompanyCam headquarters. We need to do some fixing over here with the wall. We got some damage up there. We need to go ahead and fix those blinds. We have a light that is out that needs to be replaced. This one looks a little bit dirty. And maybe this laptop also needs to be cleaned. You'll see that there is a mute button in the bottom right corner. I'm not sure if you use that very often, David, but nothing is ever perfect. You know, people might come up and start talking to you. So you can always hit that mute so then the AI stops listening and then you can always unmute and continue talking again to build out this page in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. Give it a minute to process here. I'm going to refresh my desktop side and I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So this is going to be the final product here, but you guys are all editors, so you can go ahead and, you know, click into this page and maybe you want to add some more, or maybe it wasn't 100% what you were thinking. So you guys can always jump in there and change things around, add to it if you would like, but then you have this nice page here that you can hit that arrow, send it out to the customer with a link or a PDF, or even for those back in the office, they can view it on the desktop side as well. So kind of a quick little run through of how that walkthrough note works. David, do you have any other examples or any other details?
No, I will say that it does a good job of filtering out like compressors and other noise in the background when you're trying to do this feature. So yeah, I haven't had a need to use the mute button, but yeah, if somebody comes up to you and starts talking, obviously you would want to mute them.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, yep, our checklist templates there. You talked about that. One other thing here, David, while we're kind of in this documentation and organization, talk to us about how you guys use payments. So when you use them and why you use them.
So we'll capture payments typically if it's a small transaction. If it's a large transaction, we'll typically do cash or check to avoid the merchant fee. But if it's a small service fee, like 350 bucks or whatever, it's super convenient through CompanyCam just to request a payment, type in the phone number, enter the amount, add a memo. Um, just very simple. It's all in
Yeah.
one app. You collect the payment right then and there,
Mhm.
and you're done.
Yeah. And you're using quite a few different things. I know CompanyCam payments isn't your sole way of collecting payment, right?
Correct. Yeah, but our technicians do enjoy that. We give them some optionality, and a lot of them prefer to capture payments through CompanyCam because of how simple it is.
Yeah, I love that. Our payments are, like he said, really, really easy to use. On the mobile side here, if you guys are trying to use payments, this payments tab right here. If your screen doesn't look like mine, that just means that you need to get your Stripe set up. So you can click here on payments as well. It might say, hey, get your Stripe set up, and then you'll be able to use payments. So that might be your screen, and then yours will look like mine. So you can start requesting that payment. Like David said, the techs love using it out in the field because it's really easy. So on the mobile side, I can hit payment request. I just simply type in the amount. You can add a memo here. So maybe this is my change order. Go ahead and hit create. And then on the mobile side, you can send that out as a link. You can manually enter that credit card information, or you can scan to pay, which is pretty slick there. So on the desktop side, that's going to be pretty similar. Just hit request payment. You're going to fill out that information. And then when you hit create, it will create a payment just like this, where you can copy that link and send it out. And then on the left-hand side here, this is where you can manage all of those payments. You can, of course, request here and then also see your payouts as well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about marketing. David, you guys use showcases and you also use our review feature. So talk to me a little bit about, yeah, your marketing over at your business, and then how you use our showcases and reviews.
Yeah, so CompanyCam helps us a lot with our marketing efforts. Our marketing team monitors what's going on in CompanyCam every single day. If there's any cool photos, they'll upload them to social media as they're happening in real time. And, we can also search the labels to identify certain projects we're trying to pay attention to or star them. But we use showcases on a weekly basis. So every week we try to showcase at least one project, and it uploads to our website in the embed, which is nice for homeowners who are searching for a portfolio of our work that we've done. They can also filter through projects, as we tag them in the showcases widget. So yeah, we're big fans of showcases. And then for the reviews, we try to capture a review on every tune-up appointment and ideally every project that we complete. CompanyCam makes it simple to use right through the app. And we had a process before using CompanyCam, which was successful. But with CompanyCam, it's great because we've noticed that more and more people are adding photos to their reviews that they're posting on Google when we send it out through CompanyCam. So that's really impressive, actually. I was searching through the other day and I was just really blown away with how many pictures people are uploading to the reviews now. And I think the game with reviews has changed over time. Now it's about consistently getting reviews and adding photos for context of those great ratings and reviews. So we're doing that, and CompanyCam has really helped us out.
Cool. I love that. As far as those showcases go, I also have his website pulled up here. So you're looking at the same thing here. But once you guys start creating some showcases in CompanyCam, that then allows you to put your gallery, this is his gallery, directly on the website. So new customers coming here, if you land on that website, you can click into this, and then you can filter through these different showcases that he has. So again, these are all projects that are from his CompanyCam account that he's easily going through, typing about the project, and then you also see a timeline of his work here. So creating that in CompanyCam, pretty easy to do. So under our portfolio tab here within CompanyCam, this is going to be on the desktop side. So you guys can create showcases from here. You can see I've got quite a few down here, so I can manage them from this portfolio tab as well. And then I can also add that gallery to your website. So that's where you're going to find that code. So if you have a few going already, you just simply need to put this into your website, this code, and then yours will look like David's. You'll have those each individual showcases. If you are just getting started with creating a showcase, when you're in that project here, there's going to be a button that says create showcase. This one says edit because we already have one. So you can give it that title, the project type, so you can write out different things here. You can create your own. We also have some default options for you, along with the products used. Same thing, just click there. You can type what you want for your products. You can create new ones. Give it a description or summary. So again, this is optional if you want to add details about what was going on at this job. And then the last step is to select your photos. So we want to make sure you guys have full control over what is going on your website. So simply just select those. You can always go back and add more, especially if it's a project that's ongoing, and then just simply hit confirm, and then you'll update that. So as far as, getting that code to put on your website, that is going to be an elite feature. But if you're a premium or pro, you guys can start creating those showcases just to build that up. Our showcases actually power a lot of different things now within CompanyCam under our portfolio tab here. So lots of cool things coming within CompanyCam as far as showcases go. Alrighty, and then the reviews. I love what you said about that. It's cool that you had a process and now you're kind of doing something different and seeing more photos come on your Google reviews. So if you guys want to request some reviews through CompanyCam, on the mobile side here, those three dots in the top right corner, if you click that, the second option here, it's going to say request review. So you can include a message. Again, this is going to be sent out to the customer, and then choose those photos to share. So hit that plus button, and then it's going to take you to your project here where you can include those photos of the work that you just completed for them. You can do a quick little customer preview if you would like. If you're standing there with the customer, they can scan that QR code or just simply send that link out. So via text, email, whatever works for you guys here. And then also on the desktop side here, we have reviews that's going to be under marketing. I can see a few that have already come through. It's going to have that date and then also the name. Just simply hit request review, select your location here. So that's going to be your company and your Google business page there. Select a project. Again, it's going to be that same process there. So you can include a message and have those photos in there, and then just simply copy that, and then you can send that out. So let's take a look at the customer preview. So this is where your message is going to be here. They can view and scroll through those photos. And then when they hit review us on Google, it actually takes them there and it's that pop-up. So it takes the guesswork out for the customer. All they have to do is attach those photos and then leave their review right there. So that is how our reviews work. Okay, kind of some little last random ones here before we move into the Q&A. We'll just make these pretty quick, but David, you guys use collaborators and guest access, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about, we're just going to touch on these briefly. Your collaborators, I'm assuming those are going to be some of your subcontractors.
Yes, we have a couple subcontractors that have their own CompanyCam accounts, so we just add them as collaborators. But most of our subcontractors that we have will typically assign 2 people per crew, and we'll give them users inside of our CompanyCam account so that they can take pictures on the job sites.
And then guest access, are you guys also using that?
Yep, yep. We'll create a guest access for the homeowner in a lot of cases. We used that a lot through COVID when we weren't able to get inside people's homes. It allowed the homeowner to take pictures inside of, what they're seeing, inside their attic if they were willing to get up there, inside their house if they had a leak on the ceiling or whatnot. Yeah, the guest access is great. And we also use it in our service department. So if a homeowner says, "Hey, I have an issue," we send out a guest pass to that homeowner and say, "All right, take photos of what you're seeing that, is a reason why you think you're having an issue, and let us know once you've taken those photos and they're uploaded to, CompanyCam, and then we'll get on it and we'll figure out what we need to do next."
Cool. I love that. So kind of like what David was saying, our collaborators feature here. This is going to be for primarily subcontractors because you need to have a CompanyCam account to be able to be a collaborator. So it's taking 2 CompanyCam accounts and having them talk together on a single project. So if you have some more questions about that, we have this help page here. There we go. That kind of just talks to you about, what can collaborators do? What can they not do? So the basic thing is they can add photos and videos and edits and annotations to the project. If they are a paid person, they have their own paid account, they can also work through that checklist. So this help page is fantastic. We'll drop it in the chat there if you guys have some more questions about it. But it's a great way to be able to communicate to other subcontractors and people using CompanyCam. The guest access, like he said, is a little bit different. They were using that with homeowners like during COVID. This is a little bit different. You can invite somebody that doesn't have a CompanyCam account to add photos to the project. So they're more clicking on a link and adding it in. So again, this one has some details to it, but just simply type in guest access here. and you'll be able to read a little bit more about what that looks like. There are a few steps, including like that homeowner's email address and things like that. So just great ways to be able to communicate with people. And then the last one here, we kind of talked about it earlier, David, and I know you guys use this a lot, but our tags and labels. So just some, yeah, some organizational things here, but tell me a little bit about how you guys use your tags.
Yeah, so we weren't using tags for the longest time. We were just trying to figure out a use case because, we created a bunch of tags in there and it was kind of overwhelming. But the one tag we do use often is the safety tag. So all of our technicians are required to take a picture of themselves, a selfie, in their harness with their rope attached to the roof, attached to the bracket, and they tag that safety. So at the end of the week, we compile all the safety tags, put it into a report, and send it out to our safety team. It's for accountability, and it keeps the technicians top of mind thinking about safety first.
Fantastic. Maybe you mentioned this. Are they applying the safety tag in the camera, or do you have an admin back in the office applying that tag later after the photo's been taken?
No, they're doing it themselves.
Okay, cool. They are well trained. I have to say that, David. That's fantastic. So essentially, what he's doing here then, when his guys go out to the field and they're on that project, then when they click on the camera here, that tag icon is going to be up at the top. So it's that Christmas tag there. So they have the tags already created there in CompanyCam. So you can find or create a tag. If it's already been used on the project, it's going to populate first. So maybe let's just type in, whoops, before. So I use this one all the time. So maybe you want to tag all of your before photos, or like David said, they do for their safety, and then they create a report for it. So when I take these photos, all of these are going to be tagged now. So like David is doing, I can go back and filter for this tag. Maybe I just want to look at the photos, or I want to create that report. It's just a way to kind of put these photos kind of into like a foldering system here, is by putting a tag on it. If your guys are not good about applying the tag, that's fine too. You can also apply it later. It's really easy to do on desktop. You can see add tag here, and you can even do it in bulk. So if I select next to this date here, under actions, I can hit tag and then instantly tag all of those. So of course, be like David, take them out in the field and have your guys do it. That's really impressive. That's awesome. Okay. Any last things here, David? I think we have a few questions here we're going to answer.
Sure. Yeah, we didn't touch on the before after feature, which is awesome for marketing as well. A
Sure.
lot of homeowners want to see the transformation of projects. So that's best captured through the before after feature in CompanyCam, in my
Hmm.
opinion. It's great
Yeah.
because we have a good process for taking a bunch of before photos, but then once the project's complete, we just find one of those before photos, we click into it, and then we click take after photo. It shows the before photo transparently, overlaid with the new photo. You take a picture of it, lines up great. There's a lot of templates to choose from, and then you can upload that to social media. Or we like using that as well in the request a review. We like to use the before after photos as part of those pictures that we send out to homeowners.
Cool. I'm really glad you mentioned that. That is like a core feature here at CompanyCam. So I kind of just did it while he was talking there. So you guys can just click on a photo there, and then the three dots, and select take after photo. And then you have that overlay, so you can go ahead and line that up. So like he mentioned, you can send that with a review request, share it out to social media, or just text it there, or you can just hit I'm done, and that will save there in your project feed. So that's what we've got there. Okay, we are at time, but should we ask a few questions here?
Go
Okay,
for it.
stick. Okay. All right, David. How are you scheduling and sorry, what does that say? Rating?
Routing, sorry.
Oh, okay. Scheduling and routing for his inspectors and CompanyCam. So yeah, how are you scheduling and routing your inspectors and CompanyCam?
Or
We typically do that through the CRM.
Okay, so you're
So
doing okay.
yeah, we'll base it on location, like where the technician lives, traffic patterns, try to group, appointments as best as we can in the neighborhoods. And we usually don't assign until the day before. So, you schedule, you confirm, and then you assign. because
Okay.
during your confirmation process, you may have some cancellations back out and your schedule changes for the next day. So you won't want to assign necessarily until everything's confirmed.
Awesome. Another question for you here. What was the process like to get your team using CompanyCam? Was there ever like an aha moment that made them realize that this is making their life easier?
Yeah, I mean, our process before CompanyCam was taking photos on their devices, waiting till the end of the day, uploading it to Google Drive, creating folders. It was a pain in the butt. It took an hour or so after the day was already done. So the team loved when we started using CompanyCam, and it's great for accountability. When we go out there, we take pictures before we do the project so we can identify anything that's damaged pre-existing, cracks in the driveway, torn screens, dented gutters, that type of stuff. So it's in their best interests to take photos and document things really well. Plus, we make it a requirement for our subcontractors to get paid. They need to be taking pictures through CompanyCam.
Mm,
And early on, we'll work with people, so they can develop a process and a routine. Because I know some people don't take pictures when they're on job sites, but it's just become a norm. And our team really enjoys the way CompanyCam, the app is, the interface. It's quick, it's easy, it uploads into the cloud right then and there. There's no uploading necessary. So yeah, I mean, it's just easy to use. So you just got to teach your team and develop best practices and hold them accountable.
I love that. Was there a feature that helped them buy in, like maybe something they really loved or that really, gave them that aha moment?
A lot of the sales team likes the before after feature. Some of our electricians really like the annotations. They really like to edit the photos. They really like to describe them, put comments, engage with them. So I think the engagements is really nice too in CompanyCam, collaborative.
Sure. Absolutely. Cool. Alrighty. Well, we'll kind of wrap up here and go through some of our resources, and then if there's anything left over here, we can do that as well. But as far as some resources go here, we talked a little bit about our how-to articles. So you can do that here. You can go to our help page. We also have a Spanish page within CompanyCam. So if you need some resources there or to talk, oh, sorry, can you not see my screen? Oh,
Sorry.
1 second here. Can you see it now? Okay, let me reshare here. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see if this works. Oh, still says paused. That good? Okay. So now you guys can see it here, so you can write these down or save this for later. Again, chat with our support if you guys have questions. They're fantastic. And you can do that directly through the app or companycam.com. Lots of how-to videos. So we do these classes all the time. This again was a fun one with David. We also do some reoccurring ones on the desktop side and then also on mobile for CompanyCam. And then all of you have an account manager at CompanyCam. So if you don't know who that is, you can email success@companycam.com and we'd be happy to get you in touch with them to dive deeper into some of these features we covered today. We have a lot of features within CompanyCam that we'd be happy to talk to you. So we just want to make sure that you guys can get in touch with them. If maybe you're looking to upgrade or try something new or get into a trial here for Elite or Premium, again, we want to be able to help you through that process. So we also have some upcoming classes. Like I mentioned, we have a webinar here on the 18th. That CompanyCam on desktop is going to be on the 25th, and then CompanyCam on mobile. That's great for your field techs, or if you're new to CompanyCam or need a refresher. Go ahead and get registered for those. Again, if you can't make it live, we do send you the recording. So any last questions here for David?
Yeah, we had a great one come in at the end here. So if there was one feature that you were to like highly recommend more than
Yeah.
anything else, what would it be?
Yeah, David, I'm not sure if you heard that, but if there was like one feature that you could highly recommend, what would it be?
Oh man, the one feature I would say the walkthrough note AI. Nowadays, everything's AI, So I would say start using that feature immediately. Start learning what AI can do for you. Keep up on how the technology is progressing, and yeah, don't be left behind.
Absolutely. If you guys don't have access to the AI, you're probably a pro user there. You can always set up a 14-day trial to test it out. I believe you also maybe get 10 actions too, so maybe you can use it a little bit for free as a pro user. So if you're having trouble, reach out to your account manager. We'd be happy to do a demo for you and help you through that process. So thank you again for coming today, guys. David, this was really great. We love learning how you guys use CompanyCam and run efficient jobs. So we really appreciate it here. I believe we're launching a resource here. We have our marketing team helping out. So just kind of an overview of what we talked about today. But again, if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll leave it, or in the Q&A, I'm sorry. We'll leave this open for a little bit. And yeah, we hope to see you guys next time. Thanks, David.
Yep. Thank you.